2023的 median 的 household。OK，所以这里有看到，on my laser pointer go。OK，所以我们的 median 的 household income 在这里，在右手边，这个是我们 Bay Area 的 number。我待会儿会 show 我们 Santa Clara County 的 number，所以我现在这里也有 show 我们这里的就是我们的 top 的 Asian group 在 Bay Area。我们 Bay Area 的 top Asian 的 population 现在是1.3 million，Chinese Taiwanese 是最多，在55.1万多个 population，followed by Filipinos，Asian Indian at 236,000 people。然后 Vietnamese at 68,000，然后 Korean 是我们第5个最大的Top Asian 的 group，所以我们有看到 population 会 increasing，income 很强。那 income 很强的这个就会 follow 到我们要买跟卖的 real estate 的这个 asset。所以在 Bay Area 的这个 population growth，我们也有 housing，right， 就会有 housing，因为 people 要住在 housing。所以我们有破这里的 Bay Area 的 owner occupied 的 unit 的 growth，我们有看到现在在 overall 在 Bay Area 有94.1万多个 owner occupied units，会 projected to grow 到94.7万多个 units。然后在右手边我也有 indicate 现在我们 renter occupied 的 units，所以我们 renter occupied 的 units，因为不是每个人有 own house。对不对？可是有些人会要租房子，对不对？那租可能会是一个1031 exchange 的 opportunity，right？1031 exchange 也有投资 investor 会 own that，所以现在在2023年，我们 Bay Area 有77.1万多个 renter occupied units，will projected to grow 到77.8万多个 units over the next 5 years。所以 population 强，income 很强，you rent owner occupied and renter occupied units 也要 projected to grow。那我们这里就 also break down 我们现在 Bay Area 的这个 population 到底是哪一种人，right？哪一种人就是 generation 跟 age 的 breakdown，所以我们可以看到我们现在 baby boomers 有22%，Generation X 他们是44到59岁，有 make up 24%，Millennials 是28到43岁，make up 28%，然后 Gen Z 有20%，Gen Z 现在是12到27岁。然后我们 senior 最小的 category 是79岁以上，所以我们这个 pie chart 的这个 breakdown of 所有的这个generation 的 breakdown 也是蛮 healthy 的一个 it's pretty equal, right? So everything looks good. That means housing is also going to be good, right? 所以我今天会 show 一下我们的这个系统叫 Ignite RE。我知道 Bill 跟 Ryan 有邀请我，就是来share 一下我们这个最新的这个 tool。我们最新的这个 tool actually 是去年 launch 的。我们重新 redid the entire program，所以我们这个 program actually 是非常非常 strong。所以我会 show 一下，我会给一个 overview，然后我会also go through 一个 live 的 demo。所以我们这个 First AM Ignite RE 在手机上也有一个 app。OK， 这个 app 是叫一个 Progressive Web App，so I'll show you how to use that。一个 one sign in，然后所有的access 都在里面。里
Hi
面
Jack.
manage 你的 real estate
Hi Jack.
transaction，你可以查所有的 property 的 data。要做 farming 在里面也可以做 farming。然后我们常常也会 host 一些 virtual 的 class， 在里面也可以参加。然后第二个最大的 function， 这个系统里面有就是可以做 calculation， 所以 buyer 跟 seller 做的 calculation、net sheets 你在里面都可以做。所以我现在先 go over 一下我们这个 transaction 的这个 feature， 在这个系统里面有一个叫 transactions， 所以你可以在里面 securely communicate with 你的 escrow officer， 然后可以 review 所有的 document 的文件。所以你看在这里面，你一 login 的时候，这个 transaction 的这个 button 是在最右手边，在右手边的时候，你这里就可以看所有的这个 property 的 transaction。你代表买家，你代表卖家，你代表 builder。卖你 as 带一个 buyer 进去 builder 的一个 transaction， 也有在这里面是可以看所有 view 所有的文件。 你点进去一个 transaction 的时候，你就可以看到它这里有一个 status 的这个status update，它这个叫 transaction life cycle，所以你reach each transaction 的 milestone，你在这个系统里面会给你 update。你在这系统里面也可以 also pull 你的 earnest money deposit 的 receipt，也可以看所有的 document，可以看 wire instruction，然后里面所有的 closing document 也都会住在里面。所以这里让你看一下，这里 this is what the documents look like。你在这里面的时候，你就可以看到有 wire instructions、settlement records、title report，everything 都在这里面。所以这个 transaction 的系统就是会 allow 你可以在里面 manage all of your transactions in one place。这里面也有一个 message center，所以如果你要 email 你的 escrow officer or email me or email anyone within the transaction， 你在这里面可以做 through the message center。OK， 所以如果你在这里面要 search， 如果没有 transaction，it will just show a blank page。另外一个这个feature 最强的是我们 county record 的 system 的 county record 的 software，所以这里面会有 all property data that's from the county assessor 的 office。OK，residential、commercial 都有。some mobile homes， 如果这个 mobile home 有 APN number 的话，会在这个上面。所以你在这里面就会看到它是 under 这个 property 的这个 tab right here，the second property tab is powered by Google， 所以我们的系统是 powered by Google， 所以你把地址打进去的时候，你这里就会看到所有的这些 available 的这个 report， 你可以来 pull。如果你要看这个房子里面有几个 loan， 有几个人在 title 上，它是哪一年成交的，你可以在 transaction history 这一边来 pull。所以 under 这个 transaction history， 你就可以看到它在2021年、2020年 whichever year， 他们有一个 document， 你在这里可以 select 它的这个 hyperlink 的 document， 然后在里面可以点，然后点来看。under 我们的 property 的这个 detail 的这个 screen， 你可以看到它所有的property tax， 有没有 HOA， 有没有游泳池 ，lot 多少 ，lot 多大，几个房间，几个厕所都在这里面。所以这个 under 这个 property 的 detail 的这个 screen， 如果你要这个 report， 你可以 print、email and send it out all through here。有没有 any question？
Hey,
大家
Jack,
tune in， 有 any
Jack,
question？
can you hear me?
AP 这次房屋的那个号码
Yes， 呀，我待会儿可以秀你，可是在那里是可以呀。所以刚刚 Ryan 问了能不能 search by APN number， 我们系统可以，我待会儿可以教你一下怎么用。
请问一下，Hello，
所以我们现在在我们的这个 property 的这个 screen 上哈，也有一个这个 map 的这个 feature， 所以这个 map 的这个 feature， 你在这里面是可以用 map 来找房子的。所以你在这个右手边有一个这个 map 的 section。
有很多的人问问题，但是呢，你们这边听不到。
哦，真的啊？
大声一点，可能那个 speaker。
哦。I'm so sorry 。Hello， 听得到吗？不好意思，我们刚没听
Hey,
到你的
Jack,
question。
can you hear me?
Yes, James. OK， 不好意思，刚刚一直讲到现在，我们才听到有问题，所以
Oh
好
yeah, we have a questions, but
Yeah.
you cannot hear us. So
Yes, I hear you now.
okay, cool. So for the population part, when you say Bay Area, which county you mentioned, like Santa Clara, Alameda?
Good question. So it's the entire Bay Area metro market. So that includes all of the counties that touch the water. So San Francisco, Marin, Alameda, Santa Clara, San Mateo. So around the Bay Area that touches all of the water.
Okay, got it.
Good question. It doesn't include Monterey and Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And with those demographics, I am able to narrow it down by a zip code or by a specific city as well. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I pulled all the data within the entire Bay Area to show. But if you're interested in a specific city or a specific zip code, I can do that as well.
Okay,
Good
cool.
question.
Hello Jack，
Yes, hi Charlotte.
你好，我想问一下，哪里可以 pull property profile 啊？就是你刚才的那个 property details is the same as property profiles。
Yes, yes. 所以我们这个I'll go back here. 所以在我们这个 within Ignite RE under properties，你可以 type in 一个 address，然后就 property profile，就是 under 这个叫 property. This entire report is considered a property profile. And then right here, need property details and then transaction. But this is the actual property profile, the combined report or the property detail report.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And if you don't have access to this yet, I'll put my information up at the end of the presentation and I can send you a login.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Very good questions. Okay, I'll move on. If you have any questions, now I hear you, so now you can unmute and ask away. Okay, so I'll go back here. Our system also has the ability to do farming. So if you want to do farming, we can pull that within this system, or I can pull a list off-site for you and email it to you. But within the system, and I'll show you how to do that, you can do that as well. I mentioned earlier, we also offer classes. So within the system, we will have preloaded classes available. If not, we also can do live classes as well. But within the system, it's a very powerful system. There is the option to have classes in there. And we have one coming up on remote online notaries. So that is a new thing within the industry. That's slowly becoming popular. And so we actually will have a class in the next 2 months that has that. So look out for an email from me because the class will be loaded in here and then you'll be able to take this class through the system. This is what the class catalog will look like. We have different classes we do, 1031 exchange, natural hazard report classes, how to read a title report, escrow 101, different types. So we have different types of classes that we do. So we'll host them in here. So this is what they look like. You are able to register for classes. A fun fact, in different states, there's different guidelines. So in some, like for example, in Washington, if you take a class through the title company, you can get continuing education credit. In California, we don't do that here, but we do offer that through this platform. So these are some of the different classes that we offer in here as well. I'm going to show our calculator section. The calculator section, I think, is the most important because within the calculator section, you're able to calculate closing costs for buyers, for sellers, or if you have someone that wants to do a for sale by owner, or even a renter, there's a renter calculating screen in here. So I'll show that right here. So, and I'll go into the live website to demo it for you. But we have seller net sheets and buyer net sheets. These two are the most common that you probably will use that we have, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is what that screen looks like. There's a lot of fields in here, but most of it you don't really have to input because all you do is you input the zip code, the sales price, and if there is a loan, and then this middle section here will pre-populate with the fees. Okay, and then this section in the middle is all your optional fees like staging, cleaning, painting, anything that's optional for the property, you can have that in here. Here is our title and escrow fee estimate. So this one is if you only want title and escrow fees on a property and you don't want anything else, you can use this to calculate. It's very, very easy. Or if you're writing an offer and you want to know who, for that property, who pays what, right? So if you're writing an offer on a property for a buyer and you're not sure if the seller pays or the buyer pays for that specific property, we can use this calculator for a title and escrow fee estimate. So you put in the sales price, the loan amount, and the zip code, and then right here, see here it says buyer or seller. It will indicate who will pay for that. And then this next portion is we can add it to your phone. So if you want the instructions on how to add it to your phone, send me an email and I can help you do that. So we have materials in 24 different languages. So I brought some samples here in the office. So for those that are tuning in, I'll leave all the samples here in the office for the different materials that we have. Of course, we have Chinese as well. So we have 24 different languages, and our resource website was actually featured by the American Land Title Association, and it has won an award for the best title underwriter website. It's actually very, very cool because we have videos in Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Spanish, Vietnamese, and English, different videos, and over 60 different videos with over 60 of them on our website. We also have some tools and resources. I brought some of these. So these are hard copy booklets that explain easements, that explains vesting, it explains how to hold title, what about a CC&R for HOAs. We have different materials that we have, so I'll leave all of them here for you. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to jump into the live environment for our Ignite. So give me a second here. Jump to it. Okay, do you see my screen here? Oh, you see, oh, okay. Let's do, okay. Okay, so yeah, so this is our Ignite RE platform. I'm going to log in and let you take a look. So it has all the transactions. You can manage your transaction. You can view different properties, commercial and residential, and do farming. So we have that really cool feature. So I'm going to log in here and let you take a look. My login's a little different. I'm under the employee here. So once we're in, I'll show you kind of this home screen. So this is the main home screen that you'll see. It's relatively similar to a Google search. So let me use this.
I have a question. Say the app on the App Store, they search on the Apple Store, but
they don't have it. Yes, good question. It's no longer an app. It's what's called a progressive web app, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to add it. Very good question. Okay, so. Okay, so here under properties, you'll type in an address. So does anyone have a sample address they want to use? Or I'll just use a sample one. Let's use this one. So when you search a property, it's powered by Google. It will give you all of the like searches. So anything that looks like it. So this one is a commercial property here. So you can see it's a commercial property. When you click this, you can actually see the actual Google image of the neighborhood. So when you do that, you can take a look to see if there's parking, if the feng shui is good. You can take a look at that. When you scroll down, you have all the different options. So these are all the different options that you have. You can see you can order customer service. So customer service is if you're looking for a document and you don't see it in here, you can order it from here. You can also look at the school zone. So I'm going to click into the school zone and show you what that looks like for for this property. Because if you have a buyer, you might be interested on the school and kind of how that looks like. So for this, maybe you're just interested only in the elementary and the middle school. So you can do this, you can undo that. And based off the California Department of Education and their map, this is within this address, these are the elementary schools that they have. And you can even click into it and you can take a look and kind of see what school it is and where it's from. So here you can see the case. So that this is where the house is. And this is the Santa Clara, this is the school district, the school district office address. So it has that for you. You can also click onto the K-5 to see the elementary school as well. So for each property, you can go in here and look at the school. Now, this doesn't guarantee attendance. This is just the school within the area, right? So for example, let's say this elementary school is at capacity and your buyer moves in and they have a child that should go to that school. But since that school is at capacity, the district will send them to another nearest school that has room. So it doesn't guarantee the attendance. That's always based off the availability of the actual school and the district roster. So it's not guaranteed, but this does give you an idea. Here under calculate, this is where you want to calculate fees. I'll go back to there in a little bit. So what this, now we're down here, right? We see all of these options. The combined report means it will run everything under it. So property detail, transaction history, comparable sales, so all of that. That's if you want every information. If you only want property information, you just hit the property. So let's say you only want to know bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, anything about the actual property. Zoning, if it has, like, see here, it has a fireplace. If you're interested to know if it has a fireplace, you can see that as well. The year built, so this will have the year built. So everything that has to do with the actual physical building, right? If you like it, you can print, email, or from here directly. So I'm going to I'll send Ryan a sample from here. You can include a cover page, and you can also include what's called the last transfer document. That just means the last sale document when it's sold or transfer ownership. Okay, so let's email it. So Ryan, your email was, is it Ryan at bqrealty.com? Oh, BQ Realty Group. Does that look right? Okay. And you can see, because this is my account, I can CC myself and I'll get a copy. If you do it from yours, it will CC your email. That's why I have to have all of everyone's information to set up their account so it programs it correctly. So you can email it directly out to your client or to your buyer or seller directly from here. You don't even have to change into another screen. So that's a very cool feature. So that's the property detail. The transaction history is the history of the house, right? The history. So it will be the buying and the selling and the mortgage history on the property. So if the house has sold to, sold to someone, or let's say I had a house and I added my sister on title and I recorded it, that would show up under the history. So this is just, like it says, it's like a history. So it'll show, here we see some releases. That means the bank paid it, that loan was paid off and the bank released it. Here we can see some finance. So someone got a loan for $9 million on this. So you can actually see the document. I'll pull it up and see if you can see it. You see it? See if it pops up. Sometimes it pops up in a different window. Oh. I'll show. It will, so the actual document will show up here. So let me show you. This is what the document shows up as. So once you click a hyperlink, you could actually see the recorded document of that property, that was recorded. So anything that's recorded, you can see that there. So that's what it looks like. Thank you. So go back to here. Okay. So again, you can print or email it out. If there's foreclosure activity on it, meaning if a property had a notice of default or a notice of trustee sale, you can hit foreclosure to see if there is. Most likely, see here, it will say reports not available, meaning there's no activity on that. But if there is, you can see it. If the property has a HOA, we subscribe to a lot of data where we purchase this HOA contact information in here as well. Now, I will say this is a new feature. This HOA contact section is new. So some of the information is not there, but we're slowly adding it. So try to play around with it and see if it's there, if it's good information or not. The school information I showed earlier, relatively similar. When you pull it, this section pulls it in a different format. So it gives you a list that you can email it or print it for your clients. It also says, like, for example, here, there's a high school. It will show how many teachers and how many students are here. So this gives you that opportunity if you're representing a buyer to provide this information to them, which is really helpful. It also includes private schools. So private school, the nearby private schools within 5 miles. And the last thing here is the neighborhood list. So if you want a list of all the neighbors, you can click into this and it will show up the list. It will show up all of the list here of the neighbors, and you can kind of see. So sometimes when a buyer goes, what's the neighborhood like? You can't really say too much because of the environment wherein you can give this list and say, well, I can give you a list of all the neighbors in the area. So this is actually a very, very good piece as well. And then the last here, if you want just the last loan on the document, the last loan on the property, or the last sale of the last document that shows the sale, you can pull last finance document here, and it will pull up that as actually a window that shows up. Same thing as earlier, the actual document will show up, and then the last sale document will show up as well. Here you go. Yeah, so see here, you can see the last finance document. You can send it to your clients, etc. Okay, so I'll close this. Does anyone have any questions regarding the property features section?
Sorry, how about the tab comp repair or repairable something?
Ooh, good
comparable
question.
something, that type, I think you
Oh, the comparable. Oh my gosh, I missed that one. Thank you for catching that. So the comparable sales, thank you, Charlotte. So the comparable sales is all of the sales within that area and you can change the filter. So I'll show you. So here, these are the comparable sales, and these are the settings that the system preloaded here. What you do is, if you want the comparable sales why is it not letting me? Oh, here we go. You can hit refine, and these are all the sales that record with the county. So if, for example, in the MLS, it's only properties that hit the MLS. But let's say I have a house and I sell it to my coworker. My coworker wanted to buy it, I'm moving away, my coworker bought it. We determined the price, went through a title company and recorded it, but didn't go through a realtor. And that happens. That will show in here, it won't show on the MLS. So I always say, check here if you're doing any presentation or you're looking to compare it with the MLS. But here you can change it. So let's change it to 1/2 mile. Let's look for properties. Let's look for properties with 20% square feet difference. And let's do this year, 12 months, the past 12 months. I'll leave the bedrooms, bathrooms like this just because these are what the default of the subject property has. So we'll just hit search. It will give you a list of all of the potential comparable sales. This is a bad property because it's commercial. Let me Let me get a residential one. Let's do residential over here. So here's a residential property. Again, you can select, even on the map, if you know, you can select it in the map and it will pull up. But here I'm gonna scroll down to the comparable sales. Let's run some comps for this property. So here, I use 3 miles. Variance is 10%, going back 8 months, right? So our subject property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? So I can actually go and refine this. So let's look at only 1 mile away. Let's do 15% square feet difference. And let's do in the past 6 months. Let's see if anything. And this was the 2-bedroom, 3-bath, right? So let's do two. Let's look for only 2 2s and bathrooms. Oh, 3 bedrooms. Bedrooms 1. Let's do 3. This was a 2 3, right? 2 and then 2. So you can do this. So you can change the type of comps you want. But for the purpose of this demonstration, let's just see if anything shows up within 6 months that's similar within a mile. See here, 1 2 3. There's a few, right? So here I can minimize this right here, and I can see all of the nearby properties that showed up under my comparable sales, right? So this is my property that I selected, and these are all the comparable sales that have sold in the area. So let's say I like this. Let's see, that's a 3 2. These are 3 2, 1 6, 1 7, 1 9. Yeah, these all look pretty. Yeah, these comps. I'm looking to take a look to see at the sales price, the bedrooms, and then if it's around my building square feet, and everything looks good. If you, let's say there's one that shouldn't be there or is a bad comp, you can unselect it, and then you can generate a report. And once you generate it, it's a same report. It will have the Google picture. It will have the statistics of what we selected. So the average sales price, the lower side of the sales price, the high side. It will give you a list of all of that. And if you like it, you can email it. So I'll email it to Ryan at BQ Group, BQ Realty.com, right? Okay, you can do that. And here you can even say, you can customize it. So if you're sending it to a seller, you can say, hi, nice to meet you today, etc., etc., whatever you want to customize it, and then you can email the report out. So that's the comparable sale. Thank you for catching that. I missed that section. Okay. So with that, I'm now going to jump really quickly into our calculator screen. The calculator section is the next most hot portion that's used the most. In this section, you can do a quick seller net sheet. I'm going to show you how to do that. So with a quick seller net sheet, you will type in any address. Let's try this. You can type in any address. Let's say you're talking to the owner of this property. Let's do 500,000. You can sell it for 500,000, and it's going to close. They plan to close end of April, right? So you select end of April. Let's say you ask them, okay, you're going to sell. How much do you owe on this house? They go, I have a loan of 150,000. So you can input 150,000. And since you're calculating for them, you can write, oh, I'm going to sell it for 3%, 3%, so a total 6%. You can change, you can edit this. And if there's any other cost, let's say there is a cost of cleaning, right? Or painting. Let's say you recommend that they paint the house. Let's say you paint the house, it's $2,000. you can add that into it, and then you can add as many as you want. So let's say there's a staging, right? You can do staging for 2000. You do that, you hit save, and then all of that will come out here. And then all you do is you hit the view report and it's going to generate it. And then here it generates this report for you that will show the cost. And here's usually the important how much they get to bring home. So 310 here, and let's say you're doing this for Charlotte. You can do that, and then once it's ready, you can download it. So this is the download. I'll show you what it looks like when you download it. Did the screen pop up? Yes, perfect. Yeah, it popped up. So this is what that will look like, that net sheet, that quick net sheet that you see. So you see the sales price here. They owe 150 broker commission. It prorates the tax based on the closing date. That's why the date's important, because if they move in June, then and it's January, the property tax is prorated differently. Escrow title fee. So here they care about this number, usually at the bottom right here, how much they get to take home after they sell it. So that is the seller one. If you want to email it, you can email it from here as well. You can type in the client's email address. Or what's really cool is we added this text button. You can text it. So that's why when I set up the account, it asks for your cell phone number. So when we do that, it can text it from the system. You can send it directly text from here to yourself as well. So I'll actually do this. Oh, Ryan, what's your phone number? I can text it to you.
415
415
968
968
9115.
9115. And then you can say see closing costs attached. And I'll text you can text it to multiple people. So if it's a husband and wife, you can do that as well. So you can just send a text and it will get texted out from here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. So that's the seller side. If you want to do the buyer side, you can do the buyer side as well. So the buyer side is a little bit more complicated because we have the loan piece to it, but it's the same concept. On this side, you can type in the sales price. So let's say, and what's important here is the zip code and the property, because for example, San Jose has a city transfer tax, but Cupertino doesn't, right? So you have to put in the zip code because San Jose has 2 transfer taxes. If the property in San Jose is over $2 million, there's what's called Measure E. So the zip code, if you're doing a buyer and seller, actually, for both, it's very important to put in the actual address if you have it, to put in the zip code. So we'll use this. Let's just do 95112. And then let's do a sales price of 1,500,000. So once you do that, this is the buyer side. Let's just say they're going to purchase all cash. Here you'll see that if they have a loan, you can put in the loan information. And then this closing date, adjust this closing date out appropriately for the proration of property taxes. But here, since this is in 95112, it's San Jose, there is no escrow and title fee because the seller pays it. Okay, but there's a lender's policy here for 1,700, and then you follow this, and then towards the end, based off what is appropriate, you'll tweak it. Here at the you can see the total closing here, how much they have to bring to buy that house. Any questions on this? I won't go too deep into this because this part's a little confusing, and I usually like to do a one-on-one with an agent specifically for this, so I don't confuse everyone. Okay, so that concludes the calculator section. Oh, let me show you. There's one more. Go back to the dashboard. The calculators. So when we go back to the calculators, there's the buyer cost sheet, the seller's cost sheet. The buyer cost sheet is the one I showed earlier, is this one. Net first is the same thing as the seller's one, but that one is, let's say we sold our house for 500,000, we deduct all our costs, we bring home 300,000. The net first is just the reverse of that. It says me as a seller, I have to bring home 350,000. And so that you put that number first, and then it calculates it, and it will tell you how much you have to sell the house for. It's just the reverse way of calculating it. And then here, the other cool thing I want to show is this rent versus buy. So if you have a buyer that that you're trying to help get into a house, and they say, oh, interest rates are too high, I'm just going to rent, I'm going to buy next year. You can create this for them, and let's say that the home that they're going to buy is $1,500,000. But let's say if they want to rent that home, it's going to cost them $4,000 to rent. 40,000, 4,000. You can hit calculate, and based off of the average cost of living, it's going to give you a matrix of how long, and the matrix is going to show up here in a second. It takes a couple seconds here to show up. But once it shows up, it's going to tell you how long it will take to own that home if you're renting, and it's going to basically give you a guidance on when you will break even. So for this specific example, buying is cheaper than renting after 6 years. Right, so if they rent, right, it will calculate how much they're paying in rent, and then based off the cost of buying, it's going to roughly break even between 6 and 7 years. So this is based off the average cost of living. Everyone's, of course, with inflation and Bay Area prices, maybe less, but this gives you an example that you can use. And if the buyer is buying with a loan, you can input this to get this graph a little bit more specific. So this is a great feature. Now, one last thing in here is if you ever have any questions within the program, feel free to reach out. I kind of gave a very high-level overview today because of time, but if there's anything specific that you're looking for and you can't find it, always shoot me a text or give me a call, and I can always help you look through that. So I'm going to go back to the presentation.
Hey, Jack.
Yes.
Hey, sorry. Yeah, the website is powerful. I just opened the website. How can I sign in?
So if you need a login, you have to send me an email, and I have to set up the account for you.
Oh, okay. So is that free for realtor agent?
Yes, this program is provided for realtors and agents for free. I do have to create the credential for you. I have to set it up in my system, and then give you the ID and password so you can sign it.
Okay.
So I'll put my information in the chat, and also show it so that you have my information, or you can reach out to Ryan, and then we can get you the ID and password.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. So with that, do we have any questions?
I'm just curious, for
Yeah.
the email if we send through this tool or application, the seller, the sender will be my email or will be something else?
The sender it will show your email address. So when we have it, so when they reply, can you take a look to see what it looks like when I sent it to you? Let me show you. We did a couple examples. So actually, no, I'm sorry. It comes from the system where you can CC from you. Yeah, it comes from our general inbox, and then you will have the option to CC yourself. Yeah.
So the recipient, whoever should read the email, will see your system email address.
Correct. But it will have your information in there. So this is what it looks like. I'll show you. So that's a report I sent from the system earlier. And so I CC'd Ryan. Mhm. But it will help so if you're sending it, it will at the bottom of the email have your information because it's your account. So your information will show at the bottom. Good question. Yeah.
And also, at the beginning of the presentation, you show the population information.
Yes.
Is that part pull out from this too, or?
Good question. No. So that is the data. So what was your Belinda? Belinda was asking about the demographic information at the beginning of the presentation. That is not from this system. This system is property data. That is actually a system that internally we use for presentations for population, income, and growth. So that just helps us to plan where we should be doing business, right? Because some zip codes will have decreasing, some cities will have increasing growth, right? And so part of my job is to sit down with agents and to help them do farming. So I also have another class that I do farming where we help agents do plan out where they should be mailing if they want to do so. So some agents will do mailing marketing for their listings. And so that demographic piece it goes hand in hand with our farming presentation. Yeah.
You mentioned the farming, but on this presentation, you didn't show much on farming function.
Yes.
Is that because that's
farming? Yes. Oh, so the question was with regards to farming. So farming is a whole nother class. It's an hour class where we go through each criteria. It's a whole nother presentation I do. Yeah. So good question. Does anyone else have any questions online?
Hi Jack.
Yes. Oh,
Hey,
yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
During your presentation,
Yes.
you show some information about the property details. So my question is where's that data come from? Is that come from MLS or something else?
Do you mean the population with the income and the owner occupied units?
No, the property details.
Oh, the property details. Yes. So yes, you are correct. So the property details, and let me go to that screen here so everyone can see.
And also follow up the question is the financial information. Yeah, you open the financial information about that property's owner, right?
Yes. So I'm sorry, I didn't catch. Oh, was it Stanley? So Stanley, you were talking about the property data from here. Let me just get the screen here. Good question. So the data from the property details screen here is from the county assessor's office. So the county assessor is the entity at the county that has all the property data on it. So I'll give you guys a tip. So for example, let's say you're working on a property for this property in Santa Clara County. And let's say you're working and it says 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, right? But when you go to the house, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, okay? Now that question would be, did they get permits? If they got permits, the county would update it. But if they remodeled it themselves and did not get permits, the county records will still show the same. That's why it's important if anyone's doing renovations or making their home ready to sell, that if they don't get permits, the data's not there. So the county won't know, right? And it's also a safety issue. So the data here is from the county, but I'm going to ask this question, which entity issues permits? It's the city planning office, right? The city permit office. So sometimes they also don't talk to each other. So let's say an owner went to the city, got the permits. Now their house is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, but this is showing old. Show me a copy of that permit. I can request the property profile to be updated.
we don't have to go to the company.
You don't. You can send me a copy of the evidence and I'll send it to our vendor or data vendor, because as long as it's an official document from the city or the county, I can update it. Or let's do this, they update it, the county updates it, but this is incorrect. Then you show me the county record printout showing this is a 3-bedroom, 2 bathroom. If it's on the county letterhead, I'll request it to be updated. Good question. So yes, but essentially, yes, this is from the county assessor's office.
Yeah, thank you. How about the easement?
So good question. Okay, so easements are a tad different. So easements are usually recorded, but it's recorded usually on the deed. So I'll show you where to look for it. It's hard. You have to actually look for it. You have to know what you're looking for. But easements, and this is where I will tell you, easements, if you're looking for easements on a property, send me an email and I'll pull it. But I'll show you, usually easements are located in what's called the legal description of the deed. So I'll show you what that looks like. It takes a little second to load, but because these are actual documents pulling from the county records. So it's normal. Even in my office, when I pull it, it spins a while. It takes a little bit because these are actual documents. Okay, let me do it 1 second. You would see, oh, this is a bad example. It would be in the legal description. Sorry, this is not a good example. Oops. But the easements would be in the legal description of the recorded document. Let me pull another one. So under the record documents, you would go under transaction history. Let's use, okay, so good example. So we came through, so here we see a foreclosure activity. So you can see, but it's a rescission of a lis pendens of a notice of default. So meaning they had a notice of default, meaning they didn't pay the mortgage, but then they brought it up to date and it rescinded it, meaning they paid it. So they're good to go. But see, it will show. But let me go through this. Okay, this one is a 2000. Okay, so this is a lender. This is a deed of trust, from Citibank. So this one should show if there is easements within the legal description. So let me show you. Oh, let me do this. See, this one doesn't have easement. So, but if there was an easement, you would see it in the legal description right here within the legal description of it. Easements are a little tricky. So if you have questions on easements, I would recommend sending me an email and I can research it and send it to you. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
in the
you're
deed of
welcome.
trust. Is in the deed of trust document, right?
Correct. Deed of trust or the grant deed under the legal description. You'll see all the recorded easements. That's how easements are recorded, is recorded as part of the legal description. So that's where you'll see it. Good, very good question. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how to put it on your phone because it's a little tricky. so most you guys might not have heard, but most developers of mobile apps and most developers are shying away from apps, and this is how we're doing it. So I'm going to show you. And this is the newest way how we do that. So I'm going to
Today, I'm going to show you how easy it is to add.
Do you guys see the video? Do you guys hear that? I just want to make sure. Hold on, let me share.
Yes.
Share sound. Here we go. So this is for Safari on the phone.
Our new FirstDam Ignite RE app to your iPhone. Open Safari and go to ignitere.app. Tap Sign In. Enter your username and password. Then tap Sign In. At the bottom of your phone, tap the share icon. Scroll to the bottom of the options, then tap Add to Home Screen.
So that is how we do these apps now. It's called a progressive web app. It's no longer an app from the App Store. And the reason is, for example, if we need to do a security update, the old way is we would contact Apple, publish the update, then Apple will publish the update to you. And then in your phone, you'd have a lot of icons that you need to update. You hit update. Most of the time, people don't update it, but it's because of the security thing. This is the way every time you upload it, it's the newest version of the web page. It's the most secure. Now I'm going to show the Android version. Does anyone use Android? Would you like me to show the Android version? Okay, I'm going to pull the Android version as well. Okay, so here is the Android.
Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to add our new FirstDam Ignite RE app to your Google phone. Open Chrome and go to ignitere.app. Tap Sign In. Enter your username and password. Then tap Sign In. Scroll to the bottom of the page. Tap Install App. Tap Install. A pop-up window will appear to let you know FA Ignite RE was added to your home screen.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so with that, I'm going to put my information on the screen. We also have 28 Bay Area locations, and I represent all 28 Bay Area locations. So if you have any buyers or sellers in San Francisco, in Santa Cruz, in Davis, our office network allows you to represent them in any location and still have access to me. And so I represent all 28 locations. If you have any questions, I'm leaving my contact information on the screen here. I'll also put it in the chat. And I'll stay around for a little bit, but that does conclude our presentation. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, you can call me or call Ryan or Bill anytime. Thank you, guys. Alrighty, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Should I end it? I'll give it the whole.